The year the college entrance season ended, Shane told me he wanted a breakup. I swallowed the dense, stinging ache in my chest, yet it felt as if a boulder had finally rolled off my heart. We had dated for 3 years, and he had always said, "She's just my little sister. If there was ever anything between us, do you think you would even be here?" He had used that sentence to bludgeon me into silence for 3 straight years. Then, on the last day of the college entrance season, I saw them under the sycamore tree, locked in a tight embrace, fingers interlaced. His face was cold as he repeated the same old line, but when I showed no reaction, he finally, awkwardly, said the word breakup. In that instant, I felt something inside me exhale. I wouldn't beg him to come back, again and again, tears streaking my face. I wouldn't force myself to ignore all the clues I'd pretended not to see. I simply gave a tiny nod, then opened my college list and changed every line. I tried to scrub him out of my life the way you scrub chalk from a blackboard. Days crept past, and the lacrosse teammates who used to sneer at me with him grew frantic. "Skylar, you're a grown-up, stop throwing a tantrum. Go apologize." Shane was just blowing off steam, same as always. Drop the attitude, sweet-talk him a little, and everything goes back to normal. If you keep sulking, his childhood is going to slide straight into your spot. I pressed a hand to the place where my heart no longer pounded for him and smiled. They're perfect together, don't you think? We broke up a long time ago. The sky was flawless, not a cloud in sight, but I couldn't feel the warmth. The closer the college list deadline loomed, the crueler Shane became, the less he bothered to hide. His forgotten phone vibrated on the table with a buzz. I picked it up and, from memory, keyed in his childhood's birthday. The lock screen opened. Exactly as I expected, the wallpaper was a photo of the two of them. He'd probably never imagined I'd touch his phone, so he'd left everything in plain sight. Message after message popped up. "Jordan, you're seriously going to the same college as that Skylar? Isn't she the homewrecker trying to ruin you and Bianca?" The word homewrecker made my finger freeze on the screen. I kept reading. There were dozens in the chat, some I knew, some I didn't. Replies flew upward in a blur. "At Shane, Jordan, don't tell me you didn't know Bianca's about to confess. If you're not dumping the homewrecker, are you planning to break Bianca's heart?" The speaker was one of Shane's friends, someone who had watched him ask me out in the first place. The chat's temperature spiked. "Bianca's so sweet. We can't let Skylar walk all over her." "You can't two-time her, Jordan. Skylar's gorgeous. Once you ditch her, mind if I shoot my shot?" They had grown up with Bianca, and they'd never stopped rooting for the two of them. Shane's phone was in my hand. He should have been unable to answer. Yet moments later, Bianca was yanked into the group, and Shane used her account to fire off a voice note. "I left my phone outside. Bianca and I are on our way to grab it. If you need anything, just text Bianca." The scrolling letters slashed at me like blades, drawing blood that wouldn't stop. I stood there blankly, clutching his phone under the blazing sun, yet shivering as if locked in ice. I forced myself to stand. My fingers trembled as I darkened the screen and set the phone back exactly where I'd found it. I dragged myself step by step to a thick-trunked tree that hid me from view. In the distance, I watched the familiar pair walk toward me hand in hand, and I couldn't name the feeling. It hurt, but it also felt like release. Reality was right in front of me, leaving no room for more self-delusion. They reached the phone just as a breeze stirred. Sycamore leaves drifted down around them. The scene was beautiful enough for a postcard. I stared as they clasped fingers, folded into an embrace, and kissed. I stepped out from under the tree in a daze. Once seeing this, I would have shattered, then forgiven him anyway. But now, I only felt nauseated. I couldn't wait to cut every last thread between us. When Shane saw me, his face blackened. "Didn't I tell you to stop following me around? You're exhausting. Bianca's just my sister. What paranoid fantasy are you chasing this time? Sure, we held hands, so what? Sisters hold hands." The hug was a polite squeeze, and the kiss? Ever heard of an air kiss? I stared at him without expression, no longer willing to build him the usual escape ramp. When I stayed silent, Shane turned angry. "Are you done yet? I've explained everything. What else do you want? If you keep this up, I swear I'll break up with you for real." At those words, I finally knew what I needed. I heard my own voice answer. "Fine. I agree." 3 years of swallowed grievances surged up at once. I nailed the emotion in place so it wouldn't leak out. "You've got guts, Skylar." He looked furious. He whipped out his phone and, just like every other time, posted a single status on Instagram, newly single. "Let's see if you come crawling back on your knees again." My breath froze. So I had once been that pathetic. The truth was a bleeding, mocking wound beside me. Beside him, Bianca let out a giggle. Her brows arched. "Yes, Skylar. Don't storm off in a huff just to beg later. Everyone knows you can't breathe without Jordan. I shifted my gaze to Bianca, safely tucked behind Shane. Don't get the wrong idea. We're just retracing the paths we walked as kids. Look, here are the old photos. She flicked open his phone, scrolled through the gallery, and held it toward me. Jordan kept them just like I did. Her cutesy tone, acting as if I weren't even there, painted me as the intruder. I lowered my head and looked. Photo after photo of their shared past and present. The first two were collages. One of them is children walking hand in hand, the other of them now, still holding that same grip. Their clasp had been tight then, and it was tight now. Bianca leaned closer, voice gentle. Childhood never beats the newcomer, right? But luck turns. Who ends up with the bouquet is still up for grabs. The last sentence was whisper light, yet it crashed through me like thunder. Shane stood there, irritation carved across his face. See, if we were really together, there would never have been space for you. It's all in your head, quit wasting energy on pointless jealousy. I didn't answer. I simply handed the phone back. There was no misunderstanding. I was nothing but a scripted cameo in their love story. The side character the hero has to survive before he can admit his feelings for the heroine. And now that side character was leaving the stage. After I boxed up every remnant of us, I opened my laptop to make sure I could never turn back. Without hesitation, in the final minute before the deadline, I moved every choice to the famous university in Eastbrook I'd always dreamed of. This is the college I've dreamed of since I was little, the one that used to light up every daydream I had. My grades have always been strong, definitely better than Shane's, seeing as he never bothered to crack a book. But from the moment we got together, we promised we'd pick one university and both enroll. So even though I hate the school he chose and the humid summers of that city make my skin crawl, the thought of leaving him never once crossed my mind. Everyone who knew us simply assumed I'd trail along wherever he went. Who gave them the right to be so sure? Now I'm finally spreading wings that are actually mine. My future no longer has him in it. It took me a whole day to dig out every last reminder of us. Movie stubs, hoodie strings, even the handful of photos we ever took together. I stuffed the lot into a trash bag and hauled it to the curb. After he delivered that little "we're done" speech, the line went radio silent for days. They're probably curled up somewhere disgustingly happy, posting couple selfies I'll never see. Or maybe they're waiting for me to crawl back like I used to, begging on my knees. Every other time he threw one of his one-man breakup tantrums, he'd freeze me out until I couldn't breathe, then watch me grovel my way back. Not this round. Not ever again. Once the chores were finished, I opened iMessage. College had dropped the party address. It might be the last time I share air with these classmates. So I RSVP'd yes. At the venue, he's holding court with his usual pack, Bianca perched in the middle like a crowned princess. Shane is painstakingly peeling shrimp for her, one curved shell at a time. They look like the final scene of a rom-com, sunset guaranteed. Whenever Bianca tilts her chin at a dish, he spoons it onto her plate with a tender smile I never saw in 3 years. He always claimed it wounded his masculinity to wait on a girl. So I was the one who deveined shrimp and refilled his water and pretended it felt romantic. Turns out he's perfectly capable. He just couldn't be bothered for me. I take a slow breath until the tremor stops. I remind myself, whatever he does now is none of my business. Let him play the devoted boyfriend for the audience. But the only path to the dining room cuts straight past their table. I'm 2 steps in when his friends block the way. They eye me up, smirking like cats with a cornered mouse. Thought Miss Quinn finally grew a spine. Looks more like a lapdog trailing Jordan's scent to me. Told you she'd crack. She already signed the breakup papers. Let's see her worm her way back now. My eyebrows knot. I can't believe I used to swallow this poison. Move. I'm going inside. They're smug because the old me did crawl and beg and say thank you for the insults. This time I choose a different exit line. Still playing hard to get, Skylar? I shove past before he finishes, shoulders squared. The whole room senses the shift, heads swivel toward Shane, who's staring at his plate. If you walk away, stay gone. His voice is ice. I flick a hand in farewell and never look back. Shane tracks Skylar's silhouette until it dissolves into the swarm of bodies. He glances at Bianca beside him, all soft watercolor smiles, and something inside him slips. Skylar came here for him, he's sure, so why is she pretending otherwise? Irritation sparks in his chest. Time to let her stew. These tantrums are getting old. He spelled everything out perfectly logically. Yet she keeps hammering at the same tiny crack. Can't she show a little understanding? He and Bianca share a childhood history. A girlfriend can't erase that. He picks up his phone, thumbs hovering, composes 3 different texts, deletes every one. Finally, he slams the screen down on the table and returns to the shrimp, face clouded. I'm barely 10 yards away when a new message lights the screen. Unknown number, same old arrogance. Getting cocky, huh? Not crawling back tonight? Wait till you're stuck in Westmont with no one to hold your hand. Unblock me now and I might let this slide. Shane keeps spewing ultimatums as if they're favors. I don't answer. I don't even archive. I block the new digits, flip the phone to do not disturb, and watch his scowl darken as he starts picking bones out of Bianca's fish while the room roars around them. After the third toast, someone suggests a party game. Truth or Dare wins by landslide applause. I fold myself into the farthest sofa corner, opting out. Bianca draws the Dare card. Pop a party balloon pressed between her and a partner. Under the collective leer, Shane steps forward. Cheers crescendo. Bianca's eyes shimmer. She cradles the balloon like it's fragile glass. Shane cages her within the arc of his arms. No actual touch, yet their gaze practically tangles hair. They squeeze in unison until the balloon pancakes between them. Inches collapse to millimeters, restraint melting. Finally, either patience snaps or plan unfolds. He drops the wall of his arm and yanks her flush. Zero distance. The balloon explodes. Half the room starts chanting, "Date! Date! Date!" I think Shane glances my way. Before I decode it, he bends in. They kiss like the clock stopped, long and deep, only breaking apart when oxygen demands it. Those stretched minutes stab a pain through my ribs I thought I'd outgrown. I wait for tears, none come. My eyes stay dry as bone. See that, Skylar? That's who he is. Loves the harem attention, won't chase, won't refuse, sure as hell won't commit. Look once more and be done. The speaker covers my eyes with one warm palm. It's Hayden from the class next door. The low-profile legend whose family name and SAT score both break records. I used to think loving him was tragically dumb. Turns out you can keep it up for 3 whole years. He sighs, voice shy, ears flaming scarlet. Good news. Turning back now still counts. Drop the weed, notice the oak tree. My throat feels shredded, the syllables scrape. I'm sorry, right now His face flickers with hurt, but he recovers fast, waving it off. No pressure. Liking you is my own project. I never expected a return ticket. I can take the scenic route. Courtship is supposed to take time. He never gets to the next line. Shane pushed through the crowd and walked straight toward us. Only then did I realize that at some point the distant commotion had died away. His eyes flashed with anger as he looked at us, then at Hayden's hand resting on my shoulder. He took one step forward. Hayden slid in front of me, calm as glass. What's the problem? 2 happy couples should be a win-win, shouldn't it? You just found yourself a new girlfriend, and you two were kissing like the world was ending 5 minutes ago. Now you're mad someone else moved on. You can't have your cake, eat it, and still demand the bakery stay closed. Shane's face darkened another shade, but Hayden kept going like he hadn't noticed. Haven't even congratulated you yet. 3 years of undercover dating with Bianca, finally out in the open. Don't bother denying it. Half the school has seen you two strolling the quad hand in hand after dark. Now I'm going to pursue my own girlfriend. Bystanders should exit stage left. Shane let out a laugh that sounded more like a snarl. Your girlfriend. Hayden talked right over him. My future girlfriend. Just like you've had eyes for Bianca for 3 years, I've been watching Skylar for 3 years. Maybe it was my imagination, but Shane's face seemed to crumble a little more at that. Hayden's mouth never slowed. Little Shane, pick a lane. You can't pull a some people and keep one hand in the chip bag while reaching for the cookies. The jab lit the last fuse. Before round 2 could erupt, the other leading lady arrived. Bianca appeared at the perfect moment, slipping her arms around him from behind. Why'd you wander off? You left me stranded, so boring over there. She ignored our side of the patio completely, focusing every ounce of sweetness on Shane. Her entrance twisted the air. Everyone who actually knew the timeline traded uneasy glances. Shane scanned the crowd, swallowed the rest of his rage, and plastered on a gentle smile as he hugged her back. Hungry? Head over to the tables. I'll be right there. In 3 years of being his real girlfriend, I'd never seen that expression. He'd always looked at me like I was an interruption he couldn't be bothered to finish. Hayden rested his chin lightly on the top of my head, voice a soft rumble against my ear. Cheaters and their willing side pieces deserve each other. Who knows how long those two have been sneaking around behind your back. Same goes for her. Homewrecking doesn't even make her blush. If she'll do that, what won't she do? The day Shane tries to crawl out of that mess will be the start of a beautiful dogfight. We'll bring popcorn and front row seats. His oracle-style roast lifted some of the weight off my chest. It really was time to walk away for good. Seeing the shift in me, Hayden squeezed my hand. Let's bail. Too loud in here, we need fresh air. We were almost at the exit when Bianca called after him. Hayden. She said his name, but her stare drilled into me. I know you haven't dated much, but some people are better left untouched. Your family's loaded, sure, still keep your eyes open. Anyone who homewrecks a relationship isn't exactly girlfriend material. I let go of Hayden's hand and pressed my lips together. I'd heard every version of that sentence since the day Shane first asked me out. Everyone swore I'd stolen him from Bianca. Hayden's temper flared so suddenly it startled me. Homewrecker? Takes nerve to slap that label on someone else. When Skylar and Shane got together, they were official, out in the open. You two were the ones sneaking around behind her back, and now you flipped the script. If you've always been the epic love story, why did he run to Skylar and pour his heart out? What? The two of you need an extra player to keep things spicy. Healthy relationships are great, but the twisted ones are just so much more entertaining, right? Both of them flushed, words stuck halfway down their throats. The whole thing would have been hilarious if it weren't so pathetic. I glanced at the star-scattered sky beyond the door and drew a long breath. We're done, Shane. Don't ever come near me again. I tugged Hayden's hand and walked out without looking back. Skylar. Shane shouted something after us, but I was already too far down the path to catch the words. It's late. You should head home, I said, wiping my cheeks. You're still hurting. My hug's on loan, no interest, he offered. I studied him. This boy now a full head taller than me, worry shining in those clear eyes. I exhaled and stepped in, wrapping my arms around him tight. Go home, so you will give me a real shot. You won't wake up tomorrow and pretend this never happened, right? He watched me, anticipation glowing on his face. I blinked. When did I ever? You already agreed. He sounded absolutely sure of this alternate reality. I needed my temples. It's late. Go. Maybe he sensed how drained I was. He didn't push further. We traded numbers before he left. He even commandeered my phone, changed his contact to AAA almost boyfriend, pinned the chat, and finally tore himself away. I stayed on the curb, watching until he disappeared into the swarm of bodies. Neon lights painted him in watercolor streaks. A weepy breakup anthem drifted from the karaoke bar behind me. The party noise never stopped. Bruised and exhausted, I stared at the clean line of his back vanishing into the crowd. Too clean for me to call him back. When I got home, a single message from Hayden waited. Good night. I sent the same back. No dreams visited me. The next morning I headed downstairs to take out the trash and found Shane waiting under the sycamore in front of my house, just like 3 years ago. Maybe because it was high summer, his presence didn't send the old chill through me. Sunlight bounced off the pavement, dazzling enough to blur time for a second. Almost like we were still together. The illusion lasted half a heartbeat. I snapped awake. Last night he'd claimed Bianca in front of everyone. If I wavered now, I'd officially be the other woman. I walked past without looking at him, dumped the trash, then hit the diner 2 blocks away for breakfast. When I came back, he hadn't moved. Tears glinted in the corners of his eyes, bright as broken glass. He stood frozen, tracking me with that gaze. The instant I tried to step around him, his fingers locked around my arm. Can we just talk? Please. I tried to shake free and keep walking. His grip only tightened. We're over. What else is there to say? His eyes squeezed shut in pain. Even a breakup deserves closure, don't you think? I thought it over, and in the end I agreed with him. We went to the corner a few blocks away. When things were still good between us, we used to come here all the time. We'd share the same latte, stroll along the curb together. Memories like that are unbearable. Back then, everything looked perfect. Lost in the past, I didn't notice the familiar silhouette half hidden by a giant planter at the next table. About last night, I think I owe you an explanation. Bianca and I just got carried away by the moment. There's really nothing between us. You saw how it was. If I hadn't played along, people would have gossiped about her. I only did it so she wouldn't lose face. He spouted lines even he didn't believe while sneaking glances at my face. Afterward, I made it clear to her we'd keep our distance, see each other as little as possible. Can't you be the bigger person? Bored, I stared at the leaves on the planter beside me. When I heard that, I wanted to shoot back. So today you kiss her to spare her embarrassment. Tomorrow, if she bats her eyes, you sleep with her? He loves having 2 girls dote on him, then claims the moral high ground. Nothing in the world works that way. The retort circled my head once, then vanished. I no longer had the energy to interrogate him. Some bonds, once snapped, stay snapped. The past needs no revisiting. Tell your next girlfriend to be bigger. I'm only sitting here to make one thing crystal. We're broken up. Those were your words, remember? Shane, words are like water once spilled. You can't scoop them back. You be the bigger person for once. I stood and looked at him one last time. The varsity jacket he draped over me when the weather turned cold. The faint scent of laundry detergent when he leaned close. The restrained, feather-light kiss under the sycamore tree. The public declaration he shouted amid a crowd, his earnest promises still echoing in my ears. He'd said, "Skylar, we'll stay together forever. Nothing can ever pull us apart. We'll attend the same university, then walk down the aisle." It felt as if those moments happened yesterday, yet they were as distant as flowers in a mirror, the moon on the water, forever out of reach. It hurt, but I knew, this time I had truly let go. Are you seriously going to be this heartless? It was just a tiny mistake. How can you dump me over that? How could you be so cruel, toss away everything we had, toss away me? I've swallowed my pride and begged you to get back together. What more do you want? What do I have to do to earn your forgiveness? Seeing I wouldn't turn around, he tried to shame me into it. I refused to wrestle with pointless guilt. I'd said what I needed to say. I turned and headed out. He jumped up to block me, eyes gleaming. Doesn't matter, I can win you back. Anyway, we'll be at the same college. We've got all the time in the world. We will meet again. I stepped back, frowning. We're out of time. I already changed my college list to a university you couldn't reach even with a gap year. From here on, our lives won't intersect. Days earlier, I'd still pictured a future with him. I'd even browsed apartments near campus. I'd imagined post-graduation life side by side, hands clasped all the way to the end. But when one person lies, every promise shatters. What are you babbling about? I watched you submit your application. We listed the same school. I saw it with my own eyes. Panic flashed across his face. His hands began to tremble. Before I could speak, Shane's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and killed the call, flustered. It rang again. He rejected it once more. After several rounds, he finally answered. What? Don't cry, I'll be right there. It'll be fine. Your parents will listen. Everyone knows how close you two are. Don't be scared. 5 minutes. He hung up and gave me an apologetic look. Something happened to Bianca. I have to go. It's all Hayden's fault. The stuff he said at the party got back to her parents. Her family's super proper. They can't handle rumors and now they're scolding her. I can't leave her hanging. We'll talk later. Wait for me, okay? Through the window I watched him sprint away. Brows knitted, sweat flying. Seeing him frantic over another girl, I felt nothing. Time flew. Once my acceptance letter arrived, I focused on getting ready for campus. Now and then Hayden and I went for walks. Life felt full and bright. Just before move-in day, Shane showed up again, a massive bouquet of red roses in hand, the exact ones from his first confession. Skylar, these are the same roses I bought that day, same shop, same variety, same wrapping. See, nothing has changed. As long as you say the word, we can rewind to the start. I even brought the pot sticker dumplings you love from the place below my house. And this summer dress, you've wanted it forever. I bought it for you. Trust me, I'll treat you right from now on. He offered up every little thing I used to adore, cautious and pleading. Ignore the gossip. I cleared things up with Bianca's family. There's nothing between us, and there never will be. I've made her give up. A wave of sadness washed over me. So he'd always known he was giving Bianca hope. During our 3+ years together, I'd almost forgotten this version of him. At first, he'd only toyed with her to gauge my reaction. After he realized I'd forgive him again and again, he grew brazen. He'd always known exactly what stung me. He just couldn't be bothered to change. Now that I no longer loved him, he finally panicked. What did he take me for? Let's leave together tomorrow. I'll haul your luggage. We'll head to campus as a team. Sure, Bianca will be there too, but I've told her to back off. She won't bother you. He talked faster and louder, carried away by his own fantasy. I laughed out loud. Skylar, you're not mad anymore, right? Look, you're smiling at me. Seeing my expression soften, he instantly dropped the puppy dog look. He struck that same proud, high and mighty pose again. He reached out, trying to grab my hand. But I stepped back and dodged him. 3 years, and you still can't learn to actually listen to me. I already told you. I rewrote my college list and accepted the one in Eastbrook you could never get into. He frowned, irritated. At this point, what are you still throwing a tantrum about? You can't live without me, can you? Aren't you scared I'll fall for someone else once you leave? There's a limit to how far I'll keep backing down for you. Watching him now felt like watching a clown on a stage. He spouted laughable lines and still believed they were gospel. He didn't realize no one in this world can't survive without someone else. Unhurried, I went on. Want me to text you a photo of my acceptance letter? I used to shelve my future for you. How ridiculous that seems now. A healthy relationship should push both people forward, not force one side to compromise without end. I've woken up. I'm moving on. Shane froze. At last he understood I hadn't been bluffing. I truly meant to walk away from him. This time, the helplessness on his face held less theater and more real panic. His unease was an exact mirror of how I'd looked for those 3 years. It's all a lie, right? You're just so mad you're saying anything to hurt me. Tell me you don't want to break up. Long distance? Fine, we'll FaceTime every single night. Is it still about Bianca? I'll do whatever you want. I'll block her right now and never speak to her again. As he rattled on, he yanked out his phone, fingers trembling harder with each second. I shook my head and rejected him. Wish you two a lifetime of happiness. The sky was wide and blue, the world was enormous. My road still held endless possibilities. You're lying to me, aren't you? Remember the promises you made? You said you'd love me forever, no matter who I became. I've only changed a tiny bit, and suddenly you claim you don't love me. Shane hurled whatever he'd been holding onto the pavement, then seized my shoulders in a steel grip. How many times do I have to say it? I don't love you anymore. Don't make me the villain who has to pry you off, Riley. I won't let go. If I do, you'll run and I'll never see you again. I know you too well. Once your mind's made up, nothing pulls you back. Give me one more chance, just one more. I tried to fling his arms away but couldn't. The more I fought, the wilder his eyes became. Just when desperation crested, someone behind us tore his hands off me. Deaf, are you? She said, let go. The world really can feel minuscule. So small that Hayden, taking out the trash downstairs, ran into us right outside my house. I rubbed my bruised shoulder and stared at the sudden apparition of Hayden. He planted himself in front of me, shielding me. Don't be afraid. Shane's gaze flicked to his face, blank for a heartbeat, then twisted into a sneer. Well, Skylar, no wonder you're so certain about dumping me. Already lined up your next guy, huh? Can't breathe without a man attached, can you? Bianca was right, you're just a fickle little. He didn't finish. A fist smashed into his cheek and shattered the sentence. Dappled shade from the sycamore slid across Hayden's face, giving him a dark edge. Because you're disloyal doesn't mean everyone else is. You cheated, so you assumed the rest of us would. Does blaming the whole world really make you feel that good? The punch snapped Shane's last thread of sanity. He lunged to swing back, roaring, Spare me the moral high ground. You've wanted her for ages, lurking in corners, watching year after year. Salivating over someone else's girlfriend, so noble of you. Like a stray dog sniffing every trail she leaves. Shane! Smack! I swung my arm and slapped him hard. I'm disgusted that I ever loved you. If I could start over, I'd never say yes to your confession. News of that day somehow reached Bianca. She asked to meet me outside Eastbrook. Uneasy, I wanted to skip it, but everyone had to pick up documents, me included. After I finished and stepped off campus, the street was nearly empty. I had just set foot on the crosswalk when an engine roared. A car barreled toward me, picking up speed. Thud! Someone shoved me into the adjoining lawn. I tumbled a good distance before I could scramble up and turn around. Just in time to see Bianca, driving clumsily, slam into a pole and slump unconscious over the wheel. My rescuer rolled nimbly to the curb, sprang up and rushed over. Skylar, are you okay? Hayden pulled me upright, anxiously scanning for injuries. Only then did I snap awake. Hayden was a mess of dirt and bloody scratches. He didn't care about any of it. His eyes searched only for hurt on me. Your cuts, do they hurt? Just a few scrapes, nothing worth mentioning. I glanced again at the patch of skin scraped raw on his back. Tears rolled off my chin in fat drops. Let's go to the hospital. Once we're patched up, we'll head to college together. I saw your acceptance letter. Our paths run the same from here on. I gripped his hand tightly and walked toward the ER. Hayden trotted along, beaming. At that instant, I felt my heart clarify once more. We didn't speak the whole way, yet the air between us turned sweet and thick, something new blooming silently. Memories of him flickered through my mind like a film reel. Inside the hospital, seeing the wide scrapes across his body, I finally let the tears loose again. An uncontrollable ache spread through me. Unable to hold back, I lowered my head. Our lips met. At last, our hearts spoke without shields. Sunlight flooded the windows and washed the world in gold. This time, I refused to lose. Thanks for listening to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more great stories. See you next time.